Can you tell me about a project that you worked on that took you into a creative space that you hadn't really seen yourself go before?
Yeah, there's a lot of projects to think. I think every single one does that for me, for real. Even the stuff that I'm familiar with, I end up doing something different in there because I don't like to repeat myself, you know. But I think the first time I did something that I was truly out of my depth for was scoring a feature film. So doing the whole thing and being responsible for that was terrifyingly exciting.
What film?
It's called Cargo. So it stars Martin Freeman from The Office and The Hobbit and all that type of jazz. He's way more accomplished than I could ever hope to be. It's a zombie movie, but it's sort of, if you're familiar with The Road, one of my favorite books, it's sort of like that. It's a more focused on the human thing, and the zombies just happen to be a plot device.
The dad and his kid.
Yeah. So that I did the music for that. So it was originally going to be a project between Gurumul and I, and it was unfortunately quite near the end of his stay with us. So we only got to do one song together on that whole thing, and then I took the reins for the rest of it and hung in there. And writing music to story beats as opposed to beats was just a different thing to me, like knowing that you have to curate this moment happening here, and it's not 4 bars, wait till the next little section comes in. The arrangement is happening on screen, you know, and that was super exciting to me to marry pictures up, because I sort of see sounds in colors a lot, you know. I kind of associate lots of different textures with the sounds that I'm listening to, so when I see a picture, I can sort of hear what that sounds like, I think.
And are you like, it's not necessarily to a set tempo then, because you're like, you've got to go with the tempo.
Exactly. That's the exciting part, right? It's like I've got to adapt to the beat, the story beat that's happening, which is not a conventional 80 BPM or something. There's something else about to happen, and then shock movement. And it's so sick to build that up without just putting a riser in there. Like, awesome to be able to find other ways to arrange music.
When you were in that process, are you like locking into the visuals and like you're watching it over and over again and like finding moments to bring in?
Yep. Super reactive.
Bring out.
I'm a reactive producer, player, whatever. Like that's why I love collaboration so much. Like I'll just get an idea off of an idea that someone's brought in, you know? So pictures being in front of me is just a world of ideas, because there's so many different ways to approach that sound, you know, there's so many different environments that you can bring people into just by the chord selections. A lot of fun.
How do you audition a sound? How do you know when you've got the right feel for something?
I'd probably liken it to like I have low food standards, so I'll eat McDonald's really quick.
Okay.
So if I just put a sound on, that's good enough. If the connection works and I'm getting a signal, that'll work. And I'll deal with the tone later and I'll figure it out. I'll just keep just chipping away at something. I never have a walk in and keep working on it until it's like the ideal sound in my head. I just walk in and just hammer fist away at the block until the picture is there. You know?
Get the idea down first.
Yeah, or get the idea that I can react to, you know? Like, so like I'll have a guitar or something and I'll play a little loop, and that loop might not even be the loop, but it's enough for me to get the idea and inspiration to what that song is going to end up being, you know? So I know that I'm reactive enough that a few pieces will get me going.
Cool.
Yeah, so I'll plug and play anything. My first studio was called Sticky Tape Lodge because everything was barely hanging in there. Like, if it makes signal, let's go. I'm ready. Like, that's my attitude with all of it.
Amazing. Do you usually start with guitar?
It used to be samples when I first started, like always, because I was, again, reactive guy. So early when I started making beats, 2000-ish, it was all sample-driven stuff, because that's what I loved so much, just growing up listening to Large Professor or DJ Premier or something, you know, just sample-based stuff. And I would reverse engineer that music and figure out, oh, that's how he did that. That's a Charlie Mingus loop, and that's how you put this here, and that's a synthetic substitution drum break, and that goes underneath that part there. So I would reverse engineer their music and figure out how to make it, you know. And I feel like once I looked behind the curtain and saw the wizard and how like the sausage gets made, I was just enamored with how disgusting it is, and I loved it.
What were you sampling on?
At the very start, I had, and this will age me really quickly, a Pentium 1000 computer. It's a barely holding in little computer, but I had a real formative car accident when I was 16 years old, and my older brother was driving, my younger brother in the back, I'm in the passenger seat. We're leaving a little T-junction. This guy smashed into us really hard. And, when you're going through some shock afterwards, everything's all good. And I'm like, I'm all good. And ambulance was checking me out. Like, we should probably go to the hospital, dog. So I went there and realized I'd sort of smashed my arm up a couple of different ways, broke my wrist, concussion from my head on the windscreen and stuff. And they basically said, we can give you support medically for this, or you can have $5,000 right now. So as a 16-year-old, that type of cash was unattainable to me. And I also equated that very quickly to, that sounds like 2 turntables, a really cheap mixer, and a microphone. So I immediately bought that, and I bought the Pentium 1000 so I could track it all onto that. So I would never have been able to have that stuff ever in my hands. Yeah. So to have that little opportunity in front of me was a very pivotal turning point for me, man.
Yeah. Talk me through where you went from there. Like you were sampling beats off the turntables into the Pentium.
Into the Pentium computer. So I learned all the programming visually again, before I could tactile. So after that, I ended up graduating to like an MPC and samplers and drum machines. And I think understanding the way that those things work before you touch them, because they're not user-friendly machines, So understanding the quantization and how what bar is looped and whatnot, viscerally seeing it is like, okay, I can see the visual way that this works, and then understanding how it makes sense on the gear. I had to go that way. If I went the other way, it would have been a problem for me. So I had the understanding of what it looked like to make my sound, and then I started moving to the MPCs. And back in the day, you used to be able to file your own taxes, allegedly. And I got one return, and it said, you get this much money. I was like, what if I just change a few numbers, allegedly? So I changed a few numbers, allegedly, and I had enough money for an MPC. Okay. So I bought an MPC 1000, and that was the first one I had. And now I have almost all of them.
Are you a collector, or is it
I have a problem with gear. Like, so I'm never trying to recommend getting into gear, because once you get into gear, everything is gear. And that's what I was saying before. Like, I have low standards. If it works, I got it. I'm good. Like, I'll make any drum work. I don't care. But it's just the fascination of having a new toy to play with, bro. I can't get enough of that. Absolutely. I am a kid in a candy shop, and when I'm in a audio space, everything looks tasty.
I was in a music shop the other day, and I heard a customer talking to someone, and I don't know if they're talking about like an MPC. It might have been like one of the Roland samplers. They were like, it's not user friendly.
I was about to say even less. Yeah, Roland is even less. Akai is almost like a hug.
It's not plug and play.
And I'm used to dragging and dropping, right, with a big old mouse to help me through it. Once you start getting tactile with it, but I realized really quickly that my hands were a real quick way to get my idea out. So once I could track what was actually happening.
And you finger drumming and stuff?
Yeah, finger drumming, finger chopping, so like all off-grid, off-time, slower sample than the actual track I'm trying to make, so the sample would drag a little bit further over the beat just to give you that swing. Like, just techniques that I was intentionally adapting from, not just much like Dilla, but like Premier for sure. Like all those early jazzy swing records he was doing with Gangstar was super influential on me. Yeah.
When you're like sample diving, what are you looking for?
The covers, bro. The covers. Just whatever catches my eye. I'd see the cover. If that looked cool, pull the record out, look at the date. If it's before 1980, put it in the bag. Yeah. That was it. That's all I needed.
Okay.
Yep.
Where are you doing that?
Anywhere. Yeah. Everywhere I can see or smell records, I would do it. So there was this one record shop in Murray Bridge where a lot of my family still live, and I would go there quite often, and this guy couldn't be less interested in selling you a record. Like he has no deals and he has no time for questions either. So I'd go there a lot and listen to things and just discover sounds that I liked and loop them up. And then we'll be comparing them to my friends. What did you find this week? look at this loop. This is the hottest loop ever. And trading loops with each other. So, you know, the Hoods are insanely influential on me. Their sound and being able to contribute to that sound early on by trading loops. And oh, bro, this sounds like your loop. And giving Matt a loop and stuff like, this sounds like your loop, you know, and giving me a Parliament Funkadelic loop. Oh, thank you, brother. It does, doesn't it? Like that collaborative, reactive kind of place that we all inhabited early was really influential on me, man.
Tell me about working with the Hoods.
I could do this all day long, bro. I love those guys desperately.
How old were you when you met them?
I would have been right in that sweet 16, just bought my turntables era, bro, because I went to the city, to Central Station, and I bought a copy of a record called Back Once Again, which is their very first EP.
Yeah.
And I loved it. I fell in love. Someone gave me a cassette tape. One side was 36 Chambers. The other side was Back Once Again. And I'm like, this is the coolest shit I've ever heard in my life. Both of them. Because I'd never heard hardcore music with that dialect too. And like Queen's English, Australian Adelaide accent. I'm like, what is that? Like, I need that. So I went to the city. I bought the record. And then I realized that the sticker on the front said manufactured in Lonsdale, which was the suburb away from where me and my homeboys lived. And it's back then as well, it was a very low socioeconomic kind of not big opportunity type of place. So to understand that this music that sounded world-class was made the next suburb over blew my mind, man. So I wrote a handwritten letter to it, like, hi, my name's Dan. I love rap music. Can you tell me more about it? Because you seem to be the only guys who make it. and I got a letter back from Barry, a.k.a. DJ De Vries, with CDs, vinyl, tickets, phone numbers, contacts.
Sick.
Come on in. And I was in the fold and on Barry's couch for many, many years after that, bros.
What was the first time meeting going there like?
The first time I met them was the first time I was on stage on a microphone, because one of those phone numbers that Barry had given me was a guy called Kirk, who was insanely responsible for me just putting records out. I didn't even know how to construct an album, you know. This guy, Kirk, responsible for a lot of things like Culture of Kings, all these big pivotal Australian hip-hop moments. Again, lived a suburb away from me in South Adelaide. And he sent me a message one day saying, I'm going to a show in the city, the Hilltop Woods. Come meet me at this deli. So I told my mum, hey, 16-year-old Dan's going to go meet a stranger off the internet at the deli. I'll be back. And the story gets even shadier. You know, he pulls up with a big old ute, pulls the tarp out, and there's two dudes in the tarp already. And he's like, get in. I'm like, okay. So I jump in. I'm laying down next to these dudes. Like, what's up, bro? And I meet Simplex from Terra Firma and a bunch of all these Australian rapper dudes. Are like, hey, man, what's up? We drive into a place, tarp comes out, and he just basically smuggled us into this, you know, show. So we get out, pull me into a room. The show's already happening. I walk out directly on stage. De Vries there cutting. What's up, bro? I'm like, hey, man, how are you? Lovely to meet you. Both gives me my microphone straight away. I'm like, okie dokie. I don't know what I said. I blacked the fuck out for at least 30 seconds, but evidently I said my name over and over again. And then Barry just shouted out to the crowd, he's not even old enough to be in here right now. And I'm like, yo, please don't do that, bro. That was the first time I was ever on stage, bro, and the first time I ever met those guys. I was just like, thanks for giving me that. Yeah, every one of my new setups was their old setup, bro. They didn't get, they'd upgrade something and go, oh, you need a desk, you need a, you know. I lived on Barry's couch and watched over his shoulder and just saw how to create, how to listen, how to collaborate, how to engineer. He's such a savant with sound, man, and to be able to sit with a dude like that and pick his brain endlessly, I wouldn't be anywhere close to what I am or who I am without Barry or Matt. Like, those guys, unbelievably influential on my production, and Dan Pressure, unbelievably influential on my performance. Like, that guy, those three guys are the sum of all parts, you know what I mean? And that was, again, incredibly influential on me, that you can all be the driving force for this one thing that's bigger than you. I love that.
Was the hip hop scene in Adelaide, like, to me it felt like that was a special kind of moment.
Mm-hmm.
But when being in it during that, like, growth building up of that scene, Were you looking outside of Adelaide, or were you looking in?
You know, it's funny because I was hyper aware that there was something really good happening in Adelaide, you know, and it felt like almost akin to the East Coast New York stuff I was listening to at one point. I was like, there's this huge collaborative environment. Again, sum of all parts. It felt like every group was working towards the same thing, which was just putting us on the map, you know. And I don't ever think that there was a time where we were looking out of Adelaide, because we were hyper aware that we're going to put on and make all y'all look at us, you know. We were really, really invested in that because we believed in our friends, and the Hoods set that example from the jump that you can do this on a bigger level than you can even understand. You know what I mean? Every single time they've done it to a next degree, but being a part of it then, seeing the Hoods run on stage in the smallest room, and still being a part of it now, seeing the Hoods run on stage at an arena, and it's the exact same dudes and the exact same run, wearing the exact same gear. They did it their way, bro, and that's the biggest inspiring thing to be a part of. And the fact that Adelaide was just doing it their way, and a lot of states were taking cues from us and our sound, it was unreal, man, to be able to port that around and then to do a record with Draft or something like that and make songs like Jimmy Ricard or Rapunzel and take my version of the Adelaide sound and give it to Perth and just do this national sound and make it bigger than, again, me or Paul ever were at that point was crazy to me, man.
Yeah. Within that Adelaide scene, was there like an intent to go, we're going to do this and keep it here, and
there was a big crew,
big,
you know,
going to make it big?
Yeah, it was the crew, you know. I mean, we were working to the group because before I had a group, there was a group called Certified Wise, and these dudes were like the collective group of the greatest guys you've ever met, the best rappers ever. So led by the Hoods, you know, like if they're guys, that's the crown in the jewel. That whole crown is fucking hot, you know it. And I grew up idolizing these guys. They have a song on Culture of Kings, which Kirk was responsible for putting out, called 13 MCs, 3 DJs. Rocked my shit. I lost a lot of time listening to that song, just on repeat over and over and over again, because I admired the shit out of those guys. And then for them to open the door figuratively and literally invite us into the group. So we ended up joining this little Certified Wise crew for a little while, and it was all about the sum of all parts and making sure that we are the best crew, you know, like, and there was 15 of us, 16 of us at that point, and everybody had the same intense artistry behind them because we saw these guys doing it. And like, if they can do it, what a great way to show us that we can, because we live around the corner from DJ De Vries. Like, there's no chance we can't, you know, so the Hoods lived in the hills in Blackwood, which was further away from where we were from. So to have Barry right next to us was unbelievable, bro. Yeah, it changed my life in many different ways, bro.
How did Funkors start?
Oh man, fuck, I love talking about these guys. When I first moved back from Wales, I was about 7, so this is like year 5-ish, you know. And I went to Hackham South Primary School. Again, not an area known for heavy opportunities. And I didn't have many friends because obviously I came back with this hectic Welsh accent too. So I'm the brownest kid with this thick English accent. I was like, what the fuck is this? What is that? I've never seen one of these before. So I had a kind of very combative childhood with everything and around me, you know what I mean? Like, not too many friends. And I remember leaving school one day. Oh, tears me up. I left school one day and I met this redhead kid, and he's like, "Hey man, what's up?" And he was just nice, bro. And like, we had nothing in common, except for having no fucking friends. And that's Hans. That's my best friend. Like, so he had no desire to make rap music. I just pulled him along. I fucking love this, bro. Come with me. So Sesta wanted to do it. I met him through one of these little internet chat rooms that DJ De Vries showed me how to get into. Okay. IRC back in the day, if anyone wants to know. It's real nerd shit. Very hard to get into. You got to do a little bit of coding. It's like using a sampler. You know what I mean? It's very difficult. But there was like 20 people in that room, and it was like De Vries, Simplex from Terra Firma, all these like-minded humans who were trying to make something cool. So Hans was the first dude that I just connected with organically, bro, and kills me, bro. It was it was and still is the greatest period of my life is starting to go on tour with those guys. Yeah, it tears me up because I love them so much.
Yeah. When did you start like producing and making beats for like at that level?
Pretty much the same time, because like I was 16 and I was getting them records, and what I wanted to do was change the music I liked. So like if I heard a Wu-Tang song, I'm like, man, imagine if you had this DJ Premier drum kit over the top instead. So I just start reproducing records or layering them up and putting drums behind them and stuff like that. And that's when I learned really quickly that drums were my shit. Like that you can change the sound of anything with this big knock, and I wanted to be the first person to hear that.
Okay.
You know, so even when I'm collaborating with someone like the Hoods or Draft or Illy or something, it's like, oh, I get to be the first person to hear that song.
Yeah.
Fuck, that's
Tell me
cool.
about the knock.
The
knock, the drum.
Oh, it just feels like a punch in my chest. It feels like a big bucket of water over my face. Wash upon me, look upon me, and know me. Every single time I hear that,
that's like your sort of
it's
sound.
It's the root note for the record. You know what I mean? It's the anchor. It's 100%. The ship is cruising. We've pulled up, and we're putting the anchor down by the drums. You know?
Yeah.
It's the heartbeat of the record. It's literally the beat.
Yeah. And when that knock, that big knock sound, what about it for you was the like driving force between going, okay, that's what I want to put over these samples or under these samples?
The energy, man. Like it was the energy. Like I always understood the intention behind records, but then you'd hear a Bomb Squad production, and it's just unmistakable. Almost sounds industrial. It was fucking crazy. I'm like, what are all these foreign sounds that are just making this thing react in me? You know what I mean? Which I don't find anywhere else. It's scary and it's exciting. And all the early rap music I heard, like NWA and Public Enemy, especially the Bomb Squad beats, made me react in a way that nothing else probably ever has in my life, I don't think, ever. Like, I've never had a visceral reaction like, holy shit, I need that in my life. And the first time I heard rap music, 100%, 100 miles and running, I heard that song and I was like, that is the most dangerous shit I've ever heard, and I need to do that. I want to do that. And there's swear words, and they're loud. And all I ever had was Charlie Pride, and like 4 Non Blondes and all this weird commercial pop music in my house. I never had no soulful stuff like that. And so when I heard it, it really resonated. Super difficult with me, man. Like, I couldn't shake it.
What part of your body did that hit?
It's the chest, always, bro. Always straight in my chest. Like, the stomach it hits the stomach when I know that someone's watching. I'm like, oh, fuck. Damn, I hate this feeling right now. The chest is when I know I'm on one, and it doesn't matter. I don't care who's looking at that point. Like, and it always starts with that kick, man. Like, again, you won't catch me cycling through 100 kicks, like kick. Nope. First or second, I'm fine. Like, I'll find that and make that shit work.
Okay.
Yeah.
And are you do you EQ?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, like, that's what I mean by a carve. You know what I mean? I'll put that thing in and then just slice away. I failed audio engineering, which I'll proudly say often.
Where did you...
I tried to study at SAE for a year and a half, and I failed miserably because numbers are not good with me and I can't understand mathematics very well. So it was a very tactile tape learning time at that point.
Yeah, okay.
And again, it was like, when am I going to cut some tape in the studio? I'm actually actively making records right now. I'm on tour, damn it. What am I doing?
Yeah.
So I just failed out of that and learned that my ear was the biggest power that I had to trust my own judgment, you know. And then I realized very quickly that all my favorite things I liked out of other people's records were them trusting themselves too, man.
Yeah, not looking at the EQ and
the math doesn't math for me.
Yeah. That makes sense.
Yeah, and even when it does, you know, it almost sounds uninspired and a little bit sterile to me. You know, there's a reason why a lot of really well-trained players can't get their ideas out. It's because they've never tried to do it an alternate way or look at it from a different angle because they're trained into a certain, you know, formula. And I'm very fortunate that I've come the other way into it, and I've done music theory second.
Do you enjoy performing?
I'm not sure. I only reason I'm hesitant is because of how crippling it is beforehand. Like it hurts so much before I get on stage. It's painful.
Tell me more about that.
I'm just praying for something to go wrong.
Okay.
Yeah. Until the second I get up, I'm like, just a small accident.
Yeah.
Just a little inconvenient one, enough to derail the night where I don't have to do this ever again.
Just a day in hospital is
Just a
fine.
little one. Yeah. Nothing that's going to just, trace me down for the rest of my life. A little $5,000 car accident would be nice.
Yeah.
But then nothing eclipses that feeling like getting off.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? I liken it a lot to the sobriety thing. It's like the only time I really feel the pinch 5 years later is before the show, because I know what that 3 beers does for the inhibitions.
Yes.
You know what I mean? I know what again, the math is mathing on that. Like I know what that equals up to. Instant flow state. So that is very difficult for me. Plus the super heavy critical inner voice saying, do it, because I'd love nothing more than just to fuck it all up and self-sabotage myself. You know?
Yeah.
So I'm constantly just battling that. So before the show, no, I don't want to do this ever again, and I'm questioning every choice that I've made to lead me up to that moment. And then the second my foot touches it, that's gone.
Yeah.
The alcohol thing is gone. The inhibitions is gone. The reason for second guessing myself is all gone.
Are you in the moment when you're performing, or is there future thoughts going through your head or past thoughts?
I used to be in the moment immediately when I was drunk on stage, because you're having a good time with your friends.
Yeah.
So that's what it was again, the music I make, like I was crying about my friend Hansen, is because I love these dudes. I make songs with my friends, and the alcohol thing was just enjoying ourselves and having fun. And then you realize very quickly that there's another way to do it, and it also comes with being hyper aware of what's happening up there. So my brain sort of moves quick and takes notice of a lot. So if I lock eyes with somebody who doesn't look very interested, all I'm thinking is, fuck, what have I done? You know what I mean? I'm not looking at all the hundreds of people who are really enjoying themselves. I was like, oh, I've wronged that person so bad. and I'm just considering, how the fuck do I win them? What have I, oh man, like, it's a difficult thing. And then especially when I'm doing all these songs, which is so, I'm emotionally fucking unstable all the time. So they're very easy entrances into crying in front of people. So it's like, oh, well, I'm going to put myself out here for a couple of hours now and afford others the opportunity to understand that this shit is not as easy as it looks.
Yeah. From doing this solo project, in comparison to collaborating, are you learning more about yourself as an artist? Has it opened things up for you, or is it or it's done that and it's terrifying?
Everything's terrifying. It's always terrifying. I look at it the wrong way. I always have to, I hate trying to talk about my process because it's not the most inspiring shit. You know what I mean? It's very critical, and I found that's one of my superpowers is just be a super critical guy, but I don't recommend it. One of the songs on the album is "You Could Never Hate Me Like I Do," and that's the ethos of I feel like my success, because I've been so self-critical my whole life, and I don't recommend it. I know it's not deserved, but it does well for me because I constantly have an internal dialogue where I'll wake up in the middle of the night and think about that chord. You know what I mean? Oh shit, I can change that. If I'm doing a collaborative song with somebody, more often it's I won't have a post-mortem over a missed opportunity. I'll just do it on the next one. Oh, we could have done a cool melody here or something. I'll do it on the next one. But with my album, I found it even more sleepless than usual, and just waking up, okay, fix that, because there's no one else to offload that to.
Yeah.
It's just me, dog.
When someone's collaborating with you, are they giving you a brief, or is it hey, I'm thinking about this track?
Yeah, it's it's different every time.
Yeah.
It's different I don't think I've ever started a song the same way. Not once, especially working with somebody else. I'll have a session with someone like Birds, who is just insanely good at taking direction. And then I'll have a session with someone like Seth Sentry, who is insanely good at writing a narrative, who will come to the studio and go, here's the song, here's the characters, here's the story arc, and this is the thing, write the music. Thanks.
Cool.
Love it. Yeah. I'll get into my position, play my role. And then I can find my strengths in those rooms, you know, as a producer, I think.
For someone like Birds that wants that direction, how do you change your approach as a producer? Like, do you see your job as a producer to bring the best out in the artist, or is it
best thing for the song?
the best thing for the song? Yeah.
That's it. Like, that's it. And that will bring the best out in the artist. Write the best thing for that song. And that comes with leaving that big old ego at the door, bros. Like,
for you or for them?
I don't think I've got one. I don't know. Someone else will probably tell you that I'm lying about that. But I just, again, I've had the best dudes in the world set the examples for me. The fucking Hilltop Hoods, bro. If anyone has all the accolades and all the acclaim that could just be a bunch of assholes, it's my dogs. And they're the best dudes in the world. They're the best artists and even better people. That's the example to lead by, bro. So it's like you're in there being some of all parts, writing the greatest records, man, and just all supporting each other. If they can do it, me and XYZ can do it too, because we have not got half the acclaim or awards or whatever it might be that gives you the reason to be this, that, and the other. I love that, man. Just going in there, the sum of all parts, the best thing for the song. And Birdman, he knows. Like, we're in that room together because we already have the intention to write the best song today, you know.
How do you prepare yourself for producing?
Like a session or?
With someone you haven't worked with before, or someone you have, but you know you've got to sort of get out of your producer comfort zone.
I used to stay up all night and just make beats and beats and beats and beats. Like the day before or like the weeks before, and just come with like 50 beats and be like, let's scroll through this. What do you like?
What do you like? Yeah.
And that used to work all the time, you know what I mean? Like, oh yeah, cool, that one, let's just do that. But since I've been better at playing and realizing the ideas in my head and helping other people realize the idea that they have in their head, I don't come with anything anymore. It's just pull up with my, even if I have a toy, great, that's going to help, an NPC is going to help, but I'll figure it out. We'll go to a room with nothing and we'll figure out something, man. I like that. I like the uncertain, free-flowing nature of creating something. That's scary and fun for me.
Cool.
Yeah.
Do you feel like you were collaborating with yourself in a way?
Yeah, I don't know who's driving the ship when I'm behind it. I have no idea. I honestly don't. I kind of just... The record took a couple of weeks to really properly do. All the fundamental stuff before that, longer. Like writing down...
Talk me through those. What are the fundamental stuff?
So... My childhood is very, very fractured, incredibly black and compartmentalized from a lot of traumatic experiences. So I had a lot of trouble I had a lot of trouble understanding what had made me who I am. When I got sober, I spent long hours every day trying to figure that out, you know, and I started writing down little phrases that I remembered. So a thing that helps me a lot is visual things. So I would write down a line or two that reminded me of something, or a phrase like "you could never hate me like I do." Just things like that. Just things that stuck in my brain. I would write them down, and then I'd start to pair memories and places and people together. And I realized mega quick that none of those things matched up to the actual reality that was actually happening around me.
And where were you writing these down? Like, where were you?
Mostly between a little river near mine and my little fortress of solitude in Adelaide. So I've got a little studio at the back, which I've built purposely so I don't have to leave, as all insular creatives do. Yeah. And it's this little space where I can create and then go inside to my family. It's a whole different environment. You know? So I sit in my little room and I just chip away at it for a long time. So it's a pretty scary looking room if you're not familiar with what I'm trying to do, because there's writing all over the wall. It's a crazy man's place. And I just write things like, that's my canvas for the day. You know what I mean? Like the first clip, What's the Color of Love, is me painting on one of the walls of my house because it was free. It was like, that's a white wall, let's kill it. Like, I like doing that. I like just putting something somewhere there where there's big negative space, you know. That's why my album cover is big negative space. And you pull it open, pictures, colors everywhere, you know. I like that. So I'm putting down all these things, and I'm realizing really quickly that nothing meant sense to me anymore. And the dates didn't make sense. So I started marrying these things up and realizing the truth was in the middle of all that stuff somewhere.
And this is you're thinking and writing this stuff about your childhood, but it's not marrying up with the truth.
Mm-hmm. Because
and how are you checking?
I'm fact checking as much as I can through various ways, you know.
Yeah.
And that's one of the spicy things, right? When you're dealing with trauma that you might not have access or might not want to have access to some of the people who are key players in said trauma.
Yeah.
You got to figure out other ways to understand it.
Yeah.
And that was wild for me to know that this is my responsibility now, that I have to realize, otherwise my kids will be looking for that and trying to understand it then. And I'm not going to set them up for that. Like, I have to do the hard yards here and figure it out. So I spent a lot of time writing down those little things, and each one of those headings became another word and another little thing underneath, which I ended up realizing were chapters for a book that I was starting to flesh out. And all of that was everything that had led up to my life, to that 16-year-old mark where I'd moved out of home. And it is the foundation for everything that I've done since, you know. So that book was really, really helpful for me to understand and be able to speak on the experiences properly, because it's like I know that some of them are wrong still, and I know that I've amalgamated all these memories sometimes, but all I can do is talk on what I think was happening and what has 100% informed the person I am now, you know. That's the thing. It's like art is subjective, you know, and I'm trying to treat it like that. Like, you listen to a song and take what you want from that. So I'm sort of treating my memories as such these days.
Yeah. You can not answer this if you don't want to, but what about them is wrong?
How so?
You said like some of the memories are.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I know, again, years are wrong. Like the years are all fucked up. Who's responsible for what might be wrong? Who was in the room might be wrong.
Yeah.
You know, places and people is the things that I'm mixing up all the time, because there's intent that I remember very clearly.
Yeah.
But the cast and crew might not be right. You know, so it was important to me to be able to tell the story in a way that I can own it and stand by it, but also understand that this is just my interpretation of events, and that everybody else has got their own story that was probably in or adjacent to that room. So the idea of not doing it and not affording that idea or that opportunity for someone else to go, hey man, I have been in a similar situation or close to it, or I know someone like that, was way harder for me than to just commit to this rough skeleton of what is this fractured as fuck memory.
Are you holding space for forgiveness and blame?
I don't have either of those. I don't think there's a forgiveness, because that would infer that I hold someone responsible for something. Like, I think everybody is a product of their environment, you know, and that was a big thing for me. Was what is going to separate me to put a big old end to a lot of these cyclical things that have been responsible for a lot of the problems in my life, now that I have to report to my guys inside. If it wasn't for them, I'll be running the hamster wheel, man. I'm sure of it. Like, I have a house full of responsibility and love, and it keeps me very conscious and aware that I'm there to set an example for my guys of what they accept as acceptable.
Tell me about finding sobriety.
It's absolutely the greatest thing, I think, besides my wife, who is responsible for it. She said 5 years ago, let's on New Year's Eve, let's do sober tomorrow. Let's just not drink, and I think I might give up. And I'm like, that's cool. You know, I'm like half a bottle of wine already, and like, yeah, that's a great idea. Didn't think she was really even considering it properly. I just thought it was a great.
Do you know where it came from for her?
For sure. She is everything I'm not. She's up at 5 o'clock every couple of days, training in the morning to swim. She has a drive, man. Like my drive is, I'm in the passenger seat to somebody else, I think, and she's very, very, very driven, man. So when she had this idea that, like, I'm not giving the best version of myself, I'm tired in the morning, I'm this, like, maybe I'm just going to kick this for a minute, and here's how I'm going to do it. She's so pragmatic. She will find the underlying cause of how I can do these things in a responsible way, you know, like she had all these ideas and ways to get out of us associating booze as a reward after a long day at work, you know, all these easy trigger mechanisms that you're responsible for as you being inside your brain. And I just said, I'm not going to quit, but I won't drink at home. Like, let's just start there. I'll keep it out of the fridge because that's one of the things in your little checkpoint there. Not have it at home. I can do that. Support you hard. And one day was just 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And 5 years later now is like, I know for a fact that even when I'm up there and I'm hyper aware of things, I'm still able to give the best version of me, like for sure. If the performance suffers from it and I haven't been able to hit a flow state, that's okay. And I can live with that because I know I gave it everything I got. Whereas I used to second guess myself and post-mortem all day long, you know, like, what have you done? What could you have done? And her providing that for me was like, I would never have done it. I was quite satisfied with drinking shower beers at 9 o'clock in the morning till 9 p.m. at night. Like, absolutely. There was no problem with that for me. And touring with the oars and getting off and pouring a water, which was 30 mils big, and realizing, oh shit, I've got a muscle memory associated with this. Oh, this is fucked up. She was aware of it. You know what I mean? So she put that down and I just took the lead. And I know it's not her responsibility to ever take care of me or set an example on behalf of her, but when I see it, I run with it hard, and I'm very thankful to have her.
Yeah. How has that changed your approach to making art?
Heaps. I trust myself so much.
Yeah.
You know, when you're doing all these substances, whatever it may be, you automatically think that you can't do it without it. It's not correct. It is so much a part of you already. The other thing is not. That's the downloadable content that you've chucked in on the game. You don't need that, you know. And I'm not even that guy saying, get sober, dog. Like, I'll fill up my fridge all the time for my homeboys who want it, and I support it, and I want everybody to have the best time, but I want everybody to be the best version of themselves, and I certainly was not doing that. And now that I'm this far away, there's nothing that I can take that's anxiety building or, you know, problematic, because I'm aware of every single second that I would trade for not giving my best self to my kids. No way.
Thank you. So you're writing music, painting, and other visual sort of forms.
Yep.
Do you prepare your space differently depending on the medium?
My space is a mess.
Okay.
Everything is a mess.
Tell me about your space.
It is a mess. It looks like my brain.
Okay. Tell me about your brain.
It's very cluttered.
Yeah.
There's a lot of shit going on.
Are you like grasping onto new thoughts as they come through, or are you like going, okay, that's a distraction, let it go?
I try not to do that because I'm constantly doing that. I will very easily go, oh, that's shiny, let's go, and just abandon this. So I've made a very hard effort to lock into one thing that I want to lock into at a time, and it's to the detriment of the future often, because I'll plan to one thing and I'll hit that and then go, oh shit, now I got to think about this next thing that I was supposed to be thinking about last week. And I do that all the time. But I know, again, this is the self-critical guy inside me just going, a little bit of self-sabotage never hurt, bro. Have some pain and get some stuff out in the last minute because you do your best work there.
Are you deadline driven?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. Again, the Hoods gave me my best and my worst examples ever. And those guys showed me that you can submit an album, but then you can submit it again. And then later on, one more time maybe. And then just a little bit later. And I'm like, oh shit, you can do that? So yeah, I'm a big fan of just getting it right. And it means that the product has to be right and not the date.
With hendle, did you multiple submissions?
Nope. Nope. That was one and done.
Yeah, once it's printed, it's printed.
Yeah, that was one and done. I had a good idea behind what that was going to be, and visually what I wanted it to be, and the book to act as the liner notes, and the art to act as another way into my space if you don't listen to the music or read the words. Like, I specifically planned 3 different entrance points into this story because I know that not everybody going to be a rap fan or a literary fan or an art fan. So cool, here's a story that I know is going to be resonating with you or someone you know, and here's another entrance point into it. So I'm just trying to provide that the same way that I've seen my story and other people's stuff,
When you're listening to other people's work and like rap specifically, are you hearing all the words in the first listen through, or are you going, I'm going to listen to this 50 times and get all of the layers?
I'm doing it both. I'm breaking it down at the exact same time, the music and the lyrics the exact same time. That's what I was saying about looking behind the curtain.
Yeah.
I ruined it for myself at the start.
Yeah.
As soon as I reverse engineered and saw how this thing works, I was like, okay, every song is now being deconstructed when I hear it. I look at a painting and I understand or I try to understand how it was done, or I think that's how I appreciate the art the most, is trying to reverse engineer and appreciate the creation part of it.
How did you get into painting?
Graffiti.
When did that come about in this sort of timeline?
That same 16 space right there.
Okay.
So that first fella that I moved out with, my brother David, allegedly, huge graffiti writer, huge, and all the bad kind, tags, trains, everything. So I loved the notoriety of that. I loved seeing.
Were you along for the ride, or were you tagging and like going out on your own as well?
Never on my own. No, okay. Never. Always a crew-based thing.
Yeah, it's
always.
It's a communal process.
Yeah. I never found myself going to paint for the sake of it. I was going to go out to paint a train with my homeboys. You know what I mean? It's like, this is going to be fun. We're all going to go do this together and get chased together. You know what I mean? So I was really big into the idea that this whole concrete area that we live in can just be splashed, man. And I was huge on characters and doing those for the pieces. My lettering was always whack at the start. It just took me so long to understand how connections worked and flow. But I loved art and I loved characters. And I think I would have probably been a cartoonist if I didn't find music, just because I love the satirical way of getting a stupid idea across in a highbrow contemporary way. Yeah. But graffiti has been something that I look at still to this day and take endless inspiration from, because I'm, again, reverse engineering the intent behind it.
How did that evolve into painting on canvas and brushes? And
it was a natural progression, because I'm not very fast. I don't want to jump over fences to paint trains. And I love how granular you can get with a little brush. And it feels like I'm chipping away at something. With spray paint, it was a very, very fluid splash and dash type of adventure. But with painting, I can be really granular and just sit on it and chip and chip and chip until I get my idea realized in front of me. All my stuff is super heavy brush strokes, because I'm just throwing paint at it. Lots of the times I'll literally start throwing paint at something and just see what comes out, because I'm a pretty reactive dude, and I'll see something like a big old ink block test and just take something from there. Oh, cool, right, we're going to go here with that. And I think I try to follow that with music as well.
Would you describe yourself as a perfectionist?
I think I used to. I used to overproduce for sure because of that. But I've learnt to trust myself way earlier now, and understand that there is a science in editing, especially with words. I really, really spent a lot of time on editing the words. But musically, I feel like I've reached a point where I can get the sound in my head realized quite quickly and get the idea out quite quickly. So I don't really tend to edit too much on that or overproduce anymore. I trust myself a bit better these days. A bit.
What are you editing in?
Logic has been my guy forever. So again, DJ De Vries, back in the day, to get Logic, used to have this little thing called a dongle. You had to have a physical key to put in the thing. And I would have never been able to have that. So DJ De Vries gave me his, allegedly. And I had Logic. So I've been on Logic for like 20 years. And then Apple bought Logic, so I've been using Apple computers for the last 7 or 8 years or something like that, because I just go where Logic goes. So
cool.
That's my guy.
Yeah, sick.
Yeah, I've tried to use tools, and it just makes me feel like I'm using math. Like I just melt a little bit. It's not for me.
And are you like plugins or out of the box? Like
everything. Anything. I feel like there's just a different sound for all of them. You know what I mean? So like Birdman will come to the studio and have an idea for a boom bap joint. Okay, cool. I'll pull out the MPC 60. Yam. Like, we're going to do some band-based stuff today. Cool. Let's dial up a big 16 track, get a big board out, and do it in the door. Like,
cool.
Yeah, I like to approach it differently every time.
What board are you using?
Depends what's in the studio.
Okay.
Yeah. I'll get in where I fit in, bro.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah, always. I like the idea of just getting in where I fit in because I'm going to use something different every time.
Why? Watching your performance last night. You're playing on a Fender Jazz. Yeah. Talk to me about choosing bass for performance rather than guitar, and like the crafting of the live sound for these songs versus the studio sound.
I love it. I had a bunch of people come up to me last night and say, I recognize that song, then you did a whole different version of it. I'm like, that's for you. I love that. Like, I would love it if one of my favorite artists did that shit. That's cool. Even though the song's been out for a week, I'm like, here's a remix. Because I love this shit. I was sitting on the plane on the way home, editing it, on the way here, editing. Like, when we did the Hoods tour, I sent Bertie and Fred a message, and they're like, we're going to be in Melbourne this weekend. All right, bet. On the plane, I just made this whole remix of Buggy Lumbaga, and we dropped it at Rod Laver, played it for the first time ever. That's the energy, man. Like, throw it all against the wall, risk it all, and see what happens, you know? And I'm not a very polite player. I'm not very delicate. I just hammer fist shit. So the first few shows I did, I had a big old bass and a big old acoustic with me, and I would just kind of swap between. I'm probably getting my message across easier if I just stop doing so much up here.
Tell me about non-rap music projects and how, like, dropping the fat beats out of things and going, how do I slow it down and how do you make a full sound without your normal weapons?
Yeah. Again, like, I adapt, you know, I just overcome, improvise. I love walking into a space that has no instruments that I'm familiar with and just putting my hands on it and seeing what it does. Like, that's how I've done everything.
Tell me about a time you did that.
Every time.
Okay.
Anything. Any instrument I've ever played, any button I've ever touched, any compressor I've ever used, any mixing desk I've ever done is because I've gone up, down, 10-0.
Okay.
Oh, that does that? Okay, cool. But these two do that together?
Yeah.
All right, sweet. Everything.
Yeah.
Every single thing. I've never learned a single thing the way it should be taught.
Are you menu diving, or are you just turning knobs and faders?
Both. Yeah. I, like, halfway through the tour, there was an update to the Orchid, and I was backstage like, oh shit, new chords. Like, I love this game, man. Yeah, I'm a nerd for that. I love the sport of it. You know, I like the competitive nature of it a lot. It's the only type of sport that I think I've ever been into. Like,
tell me more about the competition.
Well, you hear something great, and you're like, fuck.
How did that person do that?
Yeah, it gets me going. Like, especially people I know. Oh, shit. How did Disaster make that drum? Okay, cool. How did Suffer make that? Tell me. And then they showed me. I'm like, oh, okay, that's how you did that? Thank you.
The hip-hop producer and beat maker, like in Oz, like, it's a pretty small group of peeps, yeah.
That's for sure.
Yeah.
Yep.
How do you get in on that?
Make beats. Make beats.
Yeah.
Make beats. Make beats.
Okay.
Like, that's it. There's no shortage of people who need beats.
Yeah.
There's a big shortage of people who make beats. Like, that's where I found my groove early on, is that I had hundreds of beats. So I would just throw beats at the Hoods, throw beats at Draft, throw beats at Al, throw beats at anyone. I got hundreds of beats. And now I'm at the point where I can make 100 beats if I need to today. You know what I mean?
For sure.
It's cool, man. I love the idea of being driven by seeing and being inspired by something that I'm like, I don't immediately understand how to reverse engineer that. What the fuck was that? I love that moment, man. It's few and far, and it's fleeting. So when I get it, I hold the fuck onto it.
How does someone get a beat from you?
That's a good question. It's a great question. Honestly, sometimes I'm in this, I don't even know until I realize I've just made it and I'm with someone. I'm like, oh, cool, we just did a record together. Like, that's cool. Like, I have such a a full plate of options, I'm spoiled for choice. Like, I'm so spoiled and lucky to be surrounded by collaborators who are first and foremost my friends. And it's been so long since I've just opened up the computer and said, does anybody want some beats? It's been forever since I've done that. And I like the idea of everything being purposeful, you know, now. And the fact that I can craft that idea now is better to me than sitting around spending hours scrolling through snares like I used to. But now it's like, it'll work. Let's get going.
When you, like during COVID, you were streaming a lot. Tell me how that came about and the like making beats for stream.
I loved it. It was so much fun. My homeboy Seth Sentry put me onto it. So me and him connected a lot early on just because of video games and we're nerds like that. So he adapted his video game love into playing it online on Twitch. And I was like, okay, cool. So I'll come and watch some of that. I love watching games and I like watching people play games. So Seth and I were doing that for a while. I was jumping on playing some games with him, and then I saw his stream kind of develop into this thing that was more curated around his love of music and rapping. But the thing that was really cool about it was that he was just streaming what he was already doing. So he's just writing songs but just turned the camera on. I'm like, that's smart, bro. Like you're letting everyone into the process. So that's what I wanted to do.
If you enjoyed today's episode, please subscribe to the channel. Staunch is a podcast from Awesome Black, hosted by Travis De Vries and produced by Tristan Field, with production coordination by Jack Hickey, audio and video editing by Ripple Narratives. Episodes of Staunch are recorded with our partners DM Podcasts and MIK Studios on Gadigal Country and at the Awesome Black Studio on Wanneroo Lands.
Sure. Yep. Waiting on a train, it was late. No one else to blame but the rain. I was young, on the run, with my mom from my dad. Put my whole life in a bag. It was laneways towards the station. We was home free if you did not wake him. Then I heard the engine running and do a Morse code. Then I saw him coming as train doors closed. Woke up a couple of years later. When you're from the bottom, it's something to feel amazing. Me and mom relocated to the UK. All I got was a lot of shame and some toothache. All of a sudden they want to fight me, cause no one in this whole crowd looks like me. Find out, anytime lights out, make a ha, find a black child inside a white town, you better run with me. Down to the river. It's so deep. Even with the bed, the river will not sleep.